Okay, for the first card, this would be Libra Sun, Libra Moon, Libra Rising. So we have the Temperance card. So some of you could be having to develop the patience and tolerance. So some of you could be put in situations in which you may feel like your patience is tested, your tolerance might be tested. A lot of times this can definitely point towards having to work in a team, or a group. Sometimes this can be about us having to work with other people, say customers. So a lot of jobs like customer service or anything where we have to deal with customers, other people, and potentially their complaints, and things of that nature. So we definitely will be tested, so to speak. Our patience and our tolerance levels are being tested, so to speak. But hey, if we can learn to be patient and tolerant, then we can persevere. Okay, so I clarify, and we have the Devil card. Huh. Okay, well, the Devil card can indicate a karmic toxic relationship. This relationship can be romantic or platonic. This can indicate fears, obsessions, addictions. So those are definitely the big ones. So I always look at this card as the Devil is a very sexualized card. Yeah. And so sometimes we can clearly see an addiction or an obsession with sex. Sometimes there could be an addiction to relationships. There are so many addictions in this day and age. It could fall just about under anything. But, a lot of times, we can see issues where we become obsessed. Sometimes we can become obsessed with a particular person. Sometimes we can become obsessed with a certain way of life. This is where we just take things a little too far. The devil made me do it. Things of that nature. Now, the Devil card, you see this man, he is like in this cage, and he's literally pretty close to fetal position, but not quite. But he is definitely leery, scared, not trusting. But he's not even looking up to realize that the door on this cage is wide open. It is his fear or his addiction or this karmic relationship that's toxic. Whatever it may be, that's what's keeping him from looking up to realize the cage is really open. So this is definitely very symbolic of bondage. So we're not really as stuck with this energy as sometimes we might think we are. You just need to open your eyes and look up, because you're not really shackled to any particular person, situation, addiction, no more than you want to be. Especially when it comes to addiction, sometimes first and foremost, you got to want to, quit doing what you're doing. Because if you don't really want it, then it's kind of doomed to fail. So, but a lot of times we tend to think, the worst of it, that it's impossible, I can't do it. But we can. We just have to want to. So, what are you obsessed with, Libra? Is it an addiction? Is it an obsession? Is it fear? Is it a relationship that's testing your tolerance and your patience? Or perhaps we need to further develop our tolerance so that we can get out of a situation like this. But, you know, to each his own. This also does represent Capricorn and Temperance, Sagittarius. I'm sorry, there's my fur baby. She just came right on in. Okay, I apologize for that interruption. Of course, my dog Zoe, she just was hell or high water. She was ready to make her debut on YouTube. So, yeah, you guys are the first to ever see her. You only caught a small glimpse of her real quick, but hey, you guys are the lucky ones. Okay. She never comes in here when I'm reading. I guess that just came to an end. Okay. So here we have the circumstances position. We have the devil again, but this time he comes in reverse. So this is a positive. So the devil in reverse, we're finally looking up. We're finally realizing, hey, that cage door is open. We're not stuck. I'm breaking free. So this is where we get past those fears. This is where we can see what we're doing, see, okay, I've been obsessing over this or that. It's got to stop. You know, this is where we can kick an addiction. This is where we may be like, hey, I'm not stuck in this toxic relationship. I don't have to be. And now I'm leaving. So, you know, that can mean many different things, but, you know, those are some basic interpretations right there for you. So, but ultimately, we're not being held down. We're not allowing ourselves to be shackled to those types of things. We're breaking that bondage. Okay, so it's clarified by the Four of Wands. So, this is a very good card. Now, it's even better in the upright position, but well, something I always have to say when I see this card, whether it's upright or reverse, this is the card where we really need to take stock of all of our blessings. You know, no matter how big, how small, we need to be grateful and thankful for everything that we do have. And this is very good. I mean, I've been pushing this info because, you know, a lot of people have a tendency to get depressed when things don't work out. And I just want people to really, truly realize that, you know, all power really comes from within. So it's under our control. I don't remember exactly who quoted that, but, you know, it's very, very true. All power comes from within and is therefore under our control. So, a lot of people sometimes are like, what blessings? I don't have anything to be blessed about. You know, I'm stuck in this situation. I've got no way out. Yada, yada, yada. You know, sometimes people are constantly focused on, well, I don't have this, I don't have enough of that, I don't have this, you know, so then they've got that focus, that their focus is on a lack. So then there's that lack mentality. And when we're focusing and aligning ourselves with lack, we attract more things and situations that will make us feel like we are lacking. And so we want to definitely shift our mind when we start feeling fear come in, when we start feeling negative, when we start feeling that whole lack mentality. We need to really refocus our thoughts, and we need to focus on the positives. And again, like I was saying, a lot of people have a tendency to be extremely pessimistic. Not everybody, of course. But I've just seen this a lot, where people are just extremely pessimistic. And they're like, you know, I'll never get out of this situation. I don't have this, I don't have that, you know. But, you know, as long as you think like that, you won't get out. I mean, and another quote. This one, I believe, was Michael Bernard Beckwith. Out of nothing and no way, a way will be made. But, we have to be in alignment with that. So, we really need to focus on the good and be grateful for everything that we do have, because when we're feeling grateful for everything we have, are you healthy? That's a blessing. Are you going to have a meal tonight? That's a blessing. Do you have children? That's a blessing. They don't always feel like it, but hey, they are a blessing. So, and on and on and on, there are so many things that people tend to take for granted, and they don't look at it like they're blessed. But most of us are more blessed than we realize. And if we could just align ourselves to that, we could bring and attract so much more to us to make us feel that much more blessed. So what we're constantly thinking about and focusing on is what we can manifest and bring to us. So we definitely don't want to be focusing on the bad. It's always good to focus on where you want to be, what you want to achieve. See yourself achieving it 100%. Okay, now back to the card. Sorry, every time I see this card, I've got to say it, because if that message helps one person, then hey, I feel like I did my job. So, because it really, it's easier said than done, but if we really focus and really apply ourselves, and, you do have to kind of police your thoughts when you are trying to get yourself into a better, frame of mind. I call it the attitude of gratitude. But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Okay, back to the card. So, when we have the Four of Wands, we see happiness, celebrations, prosperity. These are good things. There is something good concerning your home life. There's a reason to celebrate. Sometimes this can indicate a marriage, a honeymoon, whatever it is. There are happy circumstances that surround the home. And perhaps some of you desire to have that happiness. Maybe some of you desire to get married. Maybe some of you would like to have a new home. And so maybe we have to get rid of these fears or these obsessions or these toxic relationships that have just been blocking us and holding us back. But there is always happiness when we see the Four of Wands. So, all in all, that's an absolute positive. And this could also be indicating like a graduation. There's always a celebration of some sort. So, this could definitely be this could even be like a family reunion. But whatever it is, it's like we come together at the home and we celebrate. And we have a reason to celebrate. And a lot of times this is about having family, content. You're very content within the home life. You're happy. So, maybe some of you are just ready to exorcise that nasty bastard up out of your life because you desire to be happy and content. Okay, so here we have the focus position. So it definitely appears that you guys are focused on opportunities. The Knight of Wands always brings changes, okay? But these changes are always positive. And a lot of times with the Knight of Wands, he brings you an opportunity. And a lot of times these can be unexpected opportunities. Sometimes this can indicate a change of residence, quite possible. A change of residence, a job opportunity, sometimes a job opportunity that will require you to move. Sometimes this can be about traveling, going on a adventure, sometimes an unexpected one at that. But no matter what the changes are or the opportunities that are presented under this energy, they're all positive. They're good. So yeah, it definitely seems like you guys are focused on opportunities and positive changes. Now I clarify, we have the Page of Wands in reverse. So this can definitely indicate that for some of you, you could potentially receive some disappointing news, possibly, maybe regarding an opportunity or a change. Some of you could be waiting for a message or waiting to hear back from someone regarding an opportunity, and there could be a delay. So it's either disappointing news, or this is definitely indicating that there is a delay in making the contact or receiving the message regarding these opportunities. Stay positive, Libra. Okay, so this position is your recent past. So we have the Hermit. So this is always about receiving wise counsel. So for some of you, this can indicate that perhaps you got advice from someone wise. Now, this can also indicate that we are listening to that inner voice within us. We're listening to our higher mind. The Hermit can pull away and isolate himself so that he can, have that quiet and that peace, so he can go within, his mind. But, there's also the aspect of he's always typically got a lantern. It's a little bit different in this particular this set of cards, but the lantern, the light, represents spiritual truth and spiritual knowledge. So yeah, there is definitely spiritual knowledge with this card. So this is about definitely listening to your own advice from your higher mind, or we could say following your gut, following your intuition, whatever works for you. Or some of you may have gotten advice from someone else. But overall, when the Hermit is upright, it's good advice. It's advice you should listen to. Okay, so we clarify, and we have the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is about waiting on results. We're waiting to hear back, and we want to find out what the results are. So, this card to me always screams opportunity to me as well. So it's like we're given an opportunity. Okay, sorry about that. You probably maybe not even noticed. Had to pause. My dog keeps scratching at the door. She's not happy right now. My husband's mowing the grass, so she's she's a little nervous, so to speak. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Back to you guys. All right. So, this can also represent an opportunity. We have two. So, sometimes this can indicate that perhaps someone may try to help you, or, well, it's okay, honey. Or sometimes a partnership can come up here. I mean, this is definitely about us manifesting, which is what I was basically speaking upon. This is basically, real similar. The wands always cover manifestation, so. But this is where we have an idea. We've set it into motion, and now we're waiting for results. We're waiting to hear back. We're waiting to see the results. And a lot of times, we can end up potentially getting an offer for help or an offer for a partnership. So that's very positive. Oh, I do apologize for all this background noise.